let's jump right in. Hello and welcome to the Common Briefing Program. We're part of the Common Geeking Program podcast, where each month we here at the Common Geeking Program take a look at the last month of geek news and recap the hottest headlines to bring you the most important, impactful, and interesting stories for geeks around the world. My name is Colin Ketchen, the host of the Common Briefing Program, and I am joined to recap January 2020. I am joined by...
Hi, I'm Jeff Leavitt. That's me. That's what I do.
Howdy. I'm Tamil Chaudhary, or Chowder, whichever you prefer.
One of these days, I will get it passed into legislation that everyone prefers Chowder. But until that day, we are going to dive into what we think have been the most impactful things. We originally, I didn't prepare a lot, because when I put out the call to say, like, hey, who of the Common Geeking Program participants wants to be in this episode? Usually 3 people, sometimes 4. Like 5 of you guys were like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a boisterous episode. But apparently, most geeks still watch the Super Bowl, and we don't. So here we are, and it's only 3 of us. I don't know if that's what Austin's doing, but if that correspondent is going to miss his first episode in 7 months, it better be for America's largest television. Is it still like the biggest thing that happens on TV?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Oh, at least for America.
Yeah, well, yes, obviously.
But it is declining in years, so,
that's
eventually.
True. Well, there was a period, I don't know if it was I don't remember if it was the 2018 or 2019 season, but there was a bit of a fun moment where League of Legends Pro Tournament viewership at its highest was higher than the lowest NFL thing.
Yeah, but
so also, like, they crisscrossed for a little bit.
League is a worldwide thing, isn't it? Or is...
Yes, this is very true. But
so
still,
League in the entire world did a little bit better than the worst American football thing.
Yes, the reason it struck me as funny was because of all those qualifying statements to say, because the headline was like, League of Legends has more viewers than the NFL, and I was just like, this can't be as simple as that, and it wasn't. But that's what nerds like us do during the Super Bowl, is try to make ourselves feel just as valuable, and that's what we're gonna do today.
I mean, I like football. I mean, I haven't kept up in years, but,
Yeah. I've watched the Super Bowl a couple of times. I don't remember what years, what games, or what happened, but I could, I
don't watch it most years, but when I do, it's usually just for the commercials, or if there's, like, an event. Like, I wouldn't do it of my own volition.
If I'm gonna get a lot of free chicken wings, that's
like a good motivator. Like, sometimes at college there would be Super Bowl parties that would have like free pizza, or I actually organized a couple of those.
I also discovered, and I should do it tonight, but I just went shopping and I feel like dirt. Not because of the shopping, unrelated dirt. But if you go to like any restaurant on Super Bowl Sunday, it's dead. Now, for restaurants that portion things out individually, like Chipotle, because it's dead, they have a lot of all the food to sell. So if you go to Chipotle on Super Bowl Sunday, you're going to get a mountain of food.
A good beefy burrito.
Ooh. A good hefty boy.
Oh,
and
I should take advantage of that someday.
It's a good... Someday. You got to... Well, you have to kind of
Once
wait.
a year.
Yeah, you have to wait like a year.
That's the
right
thing.
now, during this podcast.
Someday, because today it's not going to happen. Just too late for that.
I mean, unless we want this to make it Chowder Goes on a Journey sort of episode, which could be fun. Laura and I did an episode like that. Where we went to the zoo.
Great audio.
Turned out okay, actually. Anyway, I think we're going to jump right in. So again, I didn't have a lot prepared. I'll tell you what, I'm going to start off with the thing I did have prepared. And if I feel like we're a little, scant on details, I'll circle around toward the end and come up with some other stuff. But for now, I just want to get one thing off my chest.
I have a bingo sheet prepared right now. All right, speak, Colin.
Well, you're going to win big today, because in January 2020, a new streaming television program premiered, one whose advertising blitz has been disgustingly monstrous, taken over just about every website and physical presence that you can think of. Star Trek Picard.
I did not know it did not already come out until I saw all the previews.
As I crossed one off my bingo sheet.
I was about to say, that might as well be the free space on your bingo sheet. So Star Trek Picard premiered this month. As of this As of this recording, there are 2 episodes that have been released. The 3rd is coming on Thursday. The first 3 were screened at premieres, and the writers, because this is such a serialized show, they are very much like, hey, these first 3 episodes are kind of like the pilot, which prompts me to say, then why can't I watch all of them right now, please?
Yeah.
But, so the first few episodes came out, and now a little bit of context for like why this is a big deal to people and why it is something a lot of people are talking about, and why CBS has paid so much money to transform literally Times Square into a Star Trek advertisement. Which is wild to me. As someone who grew up being like lightly shamed for Star Trek, like I came of age around the time that J.J. Abrams made it cool to kind of like Star Trek.
Nerds are in, Colin.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like Star Wars, sure. I never thought Star Trek would be that, but CBS got the money, so that's what's happening. Star Trek Picard centers around Captain Jean-Luc Picard, played by Patrick Stewart, who has not played this role since 2002 in Star Trek Nemesis, or for the people who hate the Next Gen movies, since 1994 in the finale of the show. So it's been a long time, and he's always resisted coming back. He cites the fact that he did Logan, the X-Men movie, where, spoiler alert, Professor X and Logan Wolverine both die. He said that experience is like, it was handled right, it can be done right, so that opened his mind to it. And they came back to the show. Does
that mean he's gonna die?
Well, in the finale of Next Generation, it jumps around in time, and in the end, they insinuate he has a thing in his brain, in his parietal lobe, that will eventually kill him.
Yeah, but doesn't he get like Borged or whatever?
That was earlier in the series, but basically, flash forward.
So is it a Borg tumor?
There are Borg in this, but I don't know if it's a Borg tumor. It might be from the Borg, because that's where the thing went in his face.
It'd be a pretty easy explanation.
Yeah, and I think that works. But basically, spoiler alert, that thing is still around. So they are picking up some threads where, like, yes, that thing is still in his parietal lobe. It follows up on Nemesis a lot, where, like, Data sacrificed himself, and he's dead. And that is, like, traumatizing Picard. And it even follows up on the 2000.
Like, I have not watched the Star Trek movies. Did not know Data's dead.
Huh.
Well, he's back, right?
18 years late on that spoiler, so my bad. I should have given you.
Well, I didn't have any plans on watching the movie. I'm just like, I didn't know he's dead.
Yeah, a lot of fans did not like Nemesis, but that was how it ended. Was Data sacrificed himself for Picard, and that's haunting him. And the show sort of moves forward with that premise as he picks up on a new adventure, which the trailers don't really hint at all. It's honestly very surprising. It's very steeped in the lore. But the show is decidedly not a giant bundle of fan service, and I'm so happy for that, especially after Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And what that movie did to me personally.
Okay, real quick aside. Are we just going to spend the next hour and a half talking about Rise of Skywalker again?
I'd rather not.
We have 2
I didn't even want to spend the first 2.5 hours.
We have 2 episodes in this feed about it. We have a 24-minute bonus episode of Ryan shitting on it in a rant.
I know. I listened to it. It was hilarious.
It's so funny. It's well-trodden ground, though. But there was even a point in the episode where he goes in this old archive of his, and it has all these fan service things from the show, and it felt like the show saying, okay, here it is. Here's your 3 minutes. Here's all the shit you wanted to see. Cool, you got it. We're moving on. Like, they had a space in the show for that. And it does feel distinctly different. And they come up with, like, real character-motivated reasons why he's not getting his old crew together. And it's... I was very worried because Star Trek Discovery, which is a much more action-adventure show, Star Trek Discovery has a phenomenal cast, phenomenal production, and some of my favorite Star Trek episodes of the whole franchise. But they've had a lot of showrunner drama where in season 2 alone, they had 4 different showrunners, which is not good. And the whole season was premised around a mystery, and that mystery didn't pay off. The episodes themselves were written very well. It didn't come together, and I was really nervous. Is Picard going to be a giant sloppy mess? 2 episodes in, I started a little kind of like cautious about it, but look at Chowder subtitles. Look at Chowder subtitles.
Right I don't have the subtitles on.
Oh, Chowder scooted away from the screen, and then I just see your mom. I didn't hear him say anything. I just see your mom on the bottom of the screen.
That was actually my sister.
Okay, well, yeah. Jeff was right. These subtitles are just doing loose interpretations of what we're saying because they think you're dunking on your mom, which I'm sure didn't happen.
Dunking on your mom. But it said Dunkin, like the name, not dunking.
Yes, yeah, exactly. America runs on Dunkin on Chowder's mom. So the show is off to a good start. It is more slowly paced. I think it's very well directed. It is a weird aesthetic mix of like Star Trek but Blade Runner in a way that's weird because it's so earthbound. We haven't even gone to space yet.
Wait, but Harrison Ford is in Star Wars.
Oh my goodness, no! The overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen next. Obviously, there's a lot of big story things happening. But for people who are looking for more Star Trek: The Next Generation, this is not Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I'm very, very happy about that. It feels immediately like a different show, even though we've got the same guy at the center of it. And I think that that's a magic trick to pull that off and not have it feel gross or fan servicey.
And where can you watch this good boy in his new adventures, Colin?
It is only on CBS All Access here in the US. For those around the world, it is on Amazon Prime. So yeah, if you're in the United States, CBS All Access.
So wait, can we watch it on Amazon Prime?
No, we can't. CBS can distribute in US and Canada, I think. Yeah. So whenever there's worldwide distribution, it's whoever pays the most to do it. Netflix distributes Discovery worldwide, and Amazon distributes...
Discovery's on Netflix?
Worldwide, not in the United States.
I see.
Because CBS doesn't have the distribution for everywhere else, so they just sell the rights to whoever. Apparently, with Star Trek Discovery, the international distribution rights that Netflix paid to be able to air the show in other countries covered the show's budget entirely. They paid that much money for it, and everything they got from subscriptions in the US was basically just profit. So, hey, it's working for them. But if you want to watch and you hate CBS All Access, because a lot of Trekkies do, just free trial. Try it out. A couple episodes. It's a good time. But I'm very happy that we're getting a revisitation of an old franchise that actually feels meaningfully new, that adds context to older things, and does not feel like fan service. That could change, but as far as the first 2 episodes go, that's good.
Nice.
It's avoiding the problems that plagued the new Star Wars movies. But that was the big thing I wanted to talk about, and I got it off my chest so I can shake my hands out and let one of you guys talk. My Star Trek high is over.
All right. So check it out. I've got a few things.
Wait, Eddie's not on this episode.
Get it out now.
It's a Touch.0 joke, brother. I think, originally.
Check it out now. Funk Soul Brother, right about now. Funk Soul Brother.
Jeff could not penetrate Chowder's momentum.
My entire life is just an attempt to penetrate Chowder.
Is this just sexual innuendo at Chowder Day today?
Yeah, we got 2. Let's see what our highest kill streak is. Anyway.
So, I've got a couple things I could talk about. There's one that I want to talk about, so maybe I'll call and circle back to stuff if we feel like we need more. But this is not an official announcement from Paramount, but what is the website called? Variety.com did a story that there was basically reports that there are 2 new live-action Transformers movie scripts in production.
Cool.
Forget the names that were attached to those scripts. I've got them right here. James Vanderbilt and Joby Harold.
I know the name James Vanderbilt. What did he do?
He did some Netflix thing, some mysteries or something recently. That's what all the things on here. Murder Mystery on Netflix.
Oh, he did
Ready or Not
Spider-Man.
by Joby Harold. Ooh.
Murder Mystery was actually it was not a great movie. It was fun. I watched it. It was a good time.
So I didn't really know anything about those names, but those are the ones if those mean more to you. But what's exciting, so one of the 2 scripts, and again, these are not official announcements from Paramount, so it's mostly kind of in the rumor territory, but it's The articles don't like really list the sources, but they are from like, you know, reputable places that are listing this. One of the movies, unsurprisingly, is set to be a sequel to Bumblebee, since Bumblebee did quite well, both critically and with fans, and it was so lower budget than the other Transformers movies that it did pretty well, like profit-wise as well. So that one, I mean, that's fun. I liked Bumblebee a lot, so I'm down for that. But the other one is way more exciting, is a potentially quote unquote live action, but probably more in like how the new Lion King was live action, like CGI, Beast Wars movie, which is fucking dope to me.
The way the Lion King is, oh man, how are they going to do that considering the studio that made that live action, quote unquote live action Lion King movie closed down?
Well, hey.
I mean, there's other movies like the fucking Jungle Book, quote unquote live action, even though it's just the one dude in the CGI. You know what I mean? But basically just like, you know, full photorealistic CGI. And for those of you who don't know, like the plot of Beast Wars or like what it is as a Transformers thing.
There are a bunch of beasts and they go to war.
Exactly. So basically I've
been reading
show
Tolkien. I feel like I'm up to date on that.
The show is set both in the future and in the past, in that the main cast of the show are not the Autobots and Decepticons, but they're what's the word?
Kittybots and the Dogdicons.
No, they're descendants. There's another word.
Ancestors.
For that. No, other way. Future ancestors.
Oh yeah, descendants.
Yeah. So like the Autobots and Decepticons are the ancestors of the Maximals, who are the good guys, and the Predacons.
Did the Maximals come before or after the Autobots and Decepticons?
After.
Okay. Beast Wars is in the future.
Yeah, so it's in the future and in the past, because the characters are from the future, but the show takes place like they time travel and they're in prehistoric Earth. That's why it's both in the future and the past. Yeah, and like basically at the beginning of the show, they accidentally get time traveled back to prehistoric Earth. But so they're all we have no way of knowing if the movie would like follow that plot directly.
Did I stumble into an episode of Real or Fake with you again? I feel like
no.
I feel like
no, Beast Wars here. But like the thing about Beast Wars is one of the most like successful and critically acclaimed Transformers series, and like for the most part they haven't super revisited it at all like since the 90s when the original show came out.
Yeah, and it's people like Pat keep bitching about it.
Yeah, and like the original show, like it hasn't aged well. It was like done in CGI, and like we're talking 90s CGI. That's not Pixar.
It was like, what is the other
TV
one?
CGI, that's not a Pixar. Reboot? You talking about Reboot? Or?
Yeah, Reboot was the other one that was like a little bit before Beast Wars, but Beast Wars was one of like the first cartoons to use like a full CGI thing. And yeah, it's not aged well.
Don't make me talk about VeggieTales. I'll talk about VeggieTales.
Yeah.
1993, motherfucker.
Yeah, but VeggieTales wasn't TV. Like, it wasn't, like, serialized TV, man.
Yeah.
Fair.
Beast Wars came out in, I want to say, like, 94 or 95. Let me look that up.
Yeah, something like that. Like Toy Story, like, it was being made while Toy Story wasn't out, so, like, the
96.
Yes. So it was like novel at the time, and then
yeah.
Chowder. The subtitles I have a subtitle for you that just said "the sex," and that's it. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I see that too.
We're witnessing the real-time journey of the over-sexualization of Time Old Chowdery.
Oh gosh!
Don't objectify me, boys.
So yeah. The original Beast Wars came out in 96, so yeah, the CGI has not aged well, but the like writing and the dialogue and just the tone of the show is pretty much like, it's considered to be one of the best Transformers shows like over the years. So like a lot of people would kind of be excited for it from the fandom community. It's a silly fun time, and there's also like, I don't know. It'd be cool because, like, in the new, in the live action movies, they brought back like the original voice actor Peter Cullen, who voices Optimus Prime, and one of the characters in Beast Wars, they're we could talk about this for weeks, but they also have a Megatron who's just named after the original Megatron. But his voice actor, David Kaye, is like his performance in the series is like one of the most like celebrated in the fandom, because he's just like this ridiculous what's the word?
Megalomaniacal.
Yeah, megalomaniacal. Yeah. Character who, like, after everything he says, he'll just go, yes, in like this really soft, like, creepy voice, and it's really fucking funny. And like the whole show is like pretty tonally, like, it's a lot more comedy than like a lot of the other Transformers shows, but it gets a lot of good writing and characterization.
So I have a question. How do you think, if we do get The Lion King: Beast Wars in theaters, how do you think that more whimsical style would be translated to these bigger movies? Because even with Bumblebee, which is pretty light compared to the other movies, like, the drama is played heavily, the stakes are played heavily. How they characterize the main character is different, but they are meant to be big dramatic movies. How do you think that would translate?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, like, I would hope that they stay true to the tone and like sort of lightheartedness of the original show, where it does, like, the whole show does kind of feel like, you know, they've just edited out the giant 5-year-old's hands who are just smashing their toys together. Like, it's like, and that's like not a negative comment. Like, that the whole like tone of the show is very sort of like, you know, like fucking mystery of the week battle, like stupid new situation that the Predacons have whipped up for the Maximals to solve, and it's all kind of dumb, like, you know. But so I would hope that it stays true to that. But you're right, in a movie form, I'm guessing that they would probably put more of a serious tone to it.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm guessing for the movie to be successful, you'd really have to play off of this sort of nostalgia of it, because Beast Wars to the non-Transformers community is not as much of like a household, you know, property.
Yeah.
So
I guess I'm just wondering,
I don't know.
Like, are we gonna get like Paul Rudd leading this movie? Like, are they gonna go?
I'd be so down for that.
Are they gonna go Ant-Man before they fired Edgar Wright? Like, what are they gonna do here? So I don't know. If they
had a stylized movie like that, I would fucking eat that shit up. Because like the premise itself is so kind of zany that like I can't really imagine that they could. But I don't know. They also tried to do that for the Ninja Turtles, and it wasn't great. So
I don't think the Ninja Turtles succeeded in feeling whimsical. It did the thing where, like, when it was focusing just on those characters, they were goofy. But I think the goofiest thing in the movie was them in the elevator beatboxing, which was not really that goofy.
It was very much that Michael Bay style movie.
Yeah,
right. And that's that's what I would be worried about.
But about Ninja Turtles, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, really good cartoon, like way better than it has any right to be. It's so good. All right, continue.
No, I'd be interested, I think, as well, to see a Transformers movie that is not just a cookie cutter blockbuster, that is not just changing out the variables, that actually has a unique tone, that actually lets the directors and producers do something.
Rip off the plot of The Amazing Spider-Man, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, exact same plot as The Amazing Spider-Man, the Sony one, you know.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, Michael Bay is not at all like in relation to this
anymore.
What was I gonna say? The other thing that people are excited about for like the prospect of a Beast Wars movie is like, if they're staying true at least partially to the original media, there's really not any human cast in Beast Wars, since it does take place in prehistoric Earth.
Watch, they're gonna time travel fucking Shia LaBeouf back there. They're gonna do it.
Well, because that's what I'm saying is like, if they stick with that, like, it would be
Jimmy Fallon in the past.
It would be great to see a Transformers movie that doesn't, you know, isn't like human centric, because Bumblebee was good and it was a good movie, but it was still very like, you know, Haley Steinfeld oriented.
Yeah, I'm just now imagining Jimmy Fallon unconvincingly telling the Beasts, I don't even know what's going on here. Like, he doesn't have the answers behind his desk. Jesus. Anyway, Bumblebee...
Like the desk gets teleported with him.
Yeah, and you never see his legs. He's just walking around with the desk, calling to the roots, but the roots aren't there. So, no, I thought that Bumblebee was pretty good. I felt kind of bored watching it, and I was like, why isn't this doing it for me? I thought this was like supposed to be really good. At the end of the movie, I was like, I was affected by the drama, and I was like, oh wow, even though I was bored at times, like they still were able to build a resonant story around this character. Even so, I wanted less of the Transformers. I wanted more of just her and Bumblebee goofing around. I wanted less of the bad guys,
are you
less
saying
of
you
the
want her
unbelievable
and
military.
Bumblebee to bumble around?
Yep. That's what I'm saying, though I didn't say it like that, and I'm glad
I would
didn't
like
say
the
it.
audience to know that Colin is holding back like the biggest groan right now. I can see it on his face.
It's leaking out of all the places. Unfortunately now... Jeff, even though he just said the things he said, I gotta throw it to Chowder because it's his turn. I wish we didn't have to do this, but we do. And now it's Chowder's turn. Hey, Chowder, it's your turn now.
Okay, so I got a bunch of things I want to run through.
Jesus, no.
Well, first thing is, like, funny little coincidence, two fantasy cartoon series came out this month of January. First is The Owl House. It's produced by, or created by Donna Terrace. It's on the Disney Channel. It's has, as of this recording, 3 episodes out so far, and it's looking really good. Like, the artwork is super pretty. I really like the main character. I like the mentor witch character named Ida, who is...
Yeah, I like the voice actress, too.
Yeah, like
she's been in stuff that I can't identify.
Yeah, no, Ida is really funny. Like, if you watch Gravity Falls, she's kind of reminiscent of Stan Pines. Just like this old trickster
curmudgeon.
Old trickster kind of character who is just really charming as she is, like, underhanded. So, and like Luz is to rewind a bit, like Owl House is about like this girl named Luz who has trouble fitting in at school because she's just this hyperactive
loser.
I have a question that it might really betray my ignorance. Is the show about owls?
Well,
like no. Are they birds, and are those the characters?
No, they're
okay,
not birds. But
cool.
Ida is known as the owl lady because like she lives in she's associated with owls. That's why it's called the Owl House.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I have a clearer vision of this show now.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, no. So Luz is like a girl who doesn't fit in because she's hyperactive and imaginative. And so she gets sent to like this summer camp that'll like teach her structure, but really it's just this boring ass place. But before the bus gets to her place, she like accidentally stumbles into a magical world where she meets Ida. After shenanigans ensues, she asks Ida to like teach her magic, and now she's just in this fantasy world going on magic adventures. And like so far, like I said, it's really funny. It's got some great artwork. I think it's in a place where it can just go up and get better. So there's that. The other cartoon fantasy show is Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts.
That show is fucking gorgeous. Yeah. I love it.
Oh man,
it's so good.
Yeah, Jeff recommended that show to me, and like I watch it and I'm like, oh man, this is really good. It's on Netflix. It's got how many episodes out now? Yeah, 10 episodes.
10.
Yeah, 10 episodes out. It's animated by Studio Mir, who you may know from Legendary Voltron, Legend of Korra, and I'm pretty sure Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's created by Radford Seacrest. I don't know how to pronounce that.
The actual drawing style of these folks doesn't look particularly novel, but the way it's handling lighting and color, it sticks to like a very cool palette. But
the whole world is very pretty.
It looks very dynamically lit, which is not what I expect from a 2D cartoon. That is very pretty.
Yeah,
it looks like fucking Dixit cards, honestly.
Yeah, and like it takes place in a post-apocalypse world. And in it, like, most of humanity lives in these burrows. But like some do live above ground. But like for the most part, the above ground is inhabited by these like animal little creatures that can range in like intelligence from like human-like to intelligence to just being giant fucking kaiju. But like some of the animal characters are like frogs in suits or like
they're all like animal with weird human quirk, like the gangs. Like there's like biker birds. There's like the business frogs.
Cats. I love the lumberjack cats.
Have either of you guys watched BoJack Horseman?
Yes, I really.
How does it compare to the animal gags in that show, where it's just like a bird walking down the road and then just jumps up onto a telephone pole? Like, are those the kinds of gags we're talking about, or is it a little more?
No, they're just like
that?
They're just like they're not even like puns. It's just like all of the. Basically, the implication is right that like all the animals got mutated by some like natural or by some apocalyptic event, right? And now they're just like these weird gangs of like particular human groups, like businessmen or lumberjacks or bikers. And they're just an animal that has nothing to do with that. So, like, the frog businessmen, the cat lumberjacks, the bird biker, like, they're not, like, at all plays on what those...
really into jazzercise.
Oh, I forgot about the raccoons! They're so good!
No, it's a really cool setting, and, like, the three mains are, like, really likable. You got the titular Kipo, who's, like, this wonderful ball of joy and light who like tries to make friends with everyone, even though it might.
It's also like I was gonna say it's like a diverse group of people, but I guess not really because they are all black. But that is still cool to see.
That is still cool. A fantasy setting, with like black people. Yes. You got Wolf, like the kid raised by wolves, but the wolves in this case are like wolves that are also like American
into science.
No. The science wolves are different from the ones who raised Wolf. Wolf was raised by, like, the painting of, like, the two farmers.
American Gothic.
Yeah. Imagine wolves instead of, like, humans for American Gothic, and you got the wolves that raised Wolf. That was very interesting. And you got, I forget the last dude's name.
This looks interesting. Once
Benson?
I finish...
You got
Benson and Dave. Yeah, Dave's the best character.
Yeah. Yeah, like those two, like it's like a human kid and like a talking bug who like ages rapidly, so like he goes through an entire lifespan in a day and then like
starts over. So sometimes he's a baby and sometimes he's an adult.
Like,
it's great.
Like he's like a phoenix, but he molts instead of like burns himself,
No, I might once I'm finished, because I have like 4 episodes left in the BoJack Horseman series. That's another thing that came out this month, was the last of BoJack Horseman, one of the best shows I've ever seen.
I gotta watch that. BoJack's really good. Yeah,
it's one of the best fucking shows, and it keeps getting better. But that's ending. When this is done, I might take a look at this. This might be.
Maybe I have to try BoJack Horseman again, because I watched like the first half of the first season. I'm like, this is just not good.
Okay. I understand. Like that first half of the first season is kind of misleading. Stick with it, and it really shows its true colors. And it's like
Yeah, the really biggest thing to know about it.
Really fucking depressing, but like really.
That's it. It is a meditation on a lot of mental illnesses, particularly anxiety, depression, and addiction are big things. And it does it while being very clever and funny. And it's one of the few shows I've seen where it started off and I was like, this is pretty good, and it just gets better and keeps getting better and doesn't stop.
I started out being like, I started out much like Jeff, I don't know if this is any good, but
me too.
It's like, oh my god, and like by the time we got to the last episode of the first season, I'm like in fucking tears. That is oh man, it's
and it keeps finding new prescient ways to do it. So basically, I think that once this anthropomorphized animal show dies out, I will need another, and Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts might be the one to do it.
All right.
It's a good time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the world building is like really good in that show too.
It's really good. Yeah.
How would you say it's like? I don't know why, but my mind when you say that just goes to Adventure Time. How would you compare it to the world building of Adventure Time?
More up front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not given to you. Not given to you. It's like part of the plot, as opposed to just being like drip fed to you over 8 seasons and
Adventure
purposely
Time is,
not
like,
giving
more
you
vague
answers in
about
a
it.
frustrating way.
This is my
Which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I do too, but it's
All right, Chowder.
That's frustrating.
Do you have anything else? Because I did think of one other thing I want to talk about, but we got plenty of time if you want to talk about something else.
Yeah, I do actually like.
Go for it.
1, 2, 3, 3 more things. All right, 3 more things.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna go make dinner. I'll be right back.
Well, the third thing is a graphic novel called Trazos came out in January, and it's really good. It's like this story of Simona, an artist who wishes to, or like I'm reading the thing right now, but like it's about this artist named Simona who's an artist, but like she's kind of lost her groove, and like
She's an artist who's an artist.
my God. This sucks. I had a thing in my head, and then like I couldn't brain. So okay, but like Trazos is about this artist Simona. She, as an artist, she likes to draw and stuff. But like recently in her life, she just lost the motivation, and it's just kind of about her journey on like reconnecting with like her dreams and stuff, and also just like being with her friends and just enjoying life. And it's got this very cozy art style. It's written by, I don't want to screw up their name.
Yeah, we have no history of doing that on this show.
Yeah, absolutely none. 0%. Fernanda Frick. I still probably screwed that one up, but it's
We'll keep rolling.
yeah, no. So, and like the setting is like anthropomorphic people, but like so I guess more anthropomorphic.
What do you mean anthropomorphic people?
The anthropomorphize means to make look like a person. So what is an anthropomorphic person? And what did you do to them?
Like all the characters are like cat people, so.
Anthropomorphized animals. Sensing a motif here.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird coincidence.
Learning a lot about the over-sexualization of Chowder today. Continue.
Oddly enough,
don't you
the
dare
one
make
that's
that
actually... Oddly enough, the one that's named after animals, the Owl House, is the one without the anthropomorphized
Yeah,
people.
that's actually pretty... That's
animals.
exactly what I thought Owl House was, too. Imagine my confusion. All right, 2 more.
There's
Chowder,
a restaurant
go.
here called Owl House.
Yeah, no, but
pretty
like just quick plug for the Trazos. Trazos. You can find it on Gumroad. Go on Gumroad, type in Trazos, Trazos, or just type in gumroad.com/Trazos, and you can get it for $12.99, which is a hell of a deal considering
That's a very
it is
good deal.
253 pages.
Of a graphic novel?
Yeah, it's a graphic novel.
That's a beefy boy.
Yeah, it is a damn good deal. So again, Trazos. Go on Gumroad. Search Trazos, Trazos, or gumroad.com/Trazos, and you'll find it. It's really worth your time, I believe.
Disclaimer, Common Geeking Program does not get any sort of kickback or pay or have any affiliation with Gumroad or the publishers of Trazo. Continue.
Yeah, that is true, but it is just a good comic, so worth plugging anyways.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the next thing is a Kickstarter. By the time this episode airs, it'll have ended. But it has a demo out, so like if you want to play that demo, it's right there. It's called.
Oh, I forgot about the other thing we have to talk about. Shit, Chowder, we have to talk about Pokemon. We really have to talk about Pokemon.
Okay. I'll make my bit quick here. Ruby and the Wayward Mira is a Metroidvania game. A lot of RPG elements. Character progression. And when it says Metroidvania, it really means it. It's got a lot of Metroid vibes in its setting. It's like a sort of setting where science and fantasy meet. It's really pretty. Again, another one with a really pretty art style. Like there's a screenshot of the outdoors in noon, and it's like all these gorgeous pinks and oranges like dancing together. It's great. It's wonderful. But like there's all these like sort of alien style like sci-fi places as well. Right now it's like boasting 6 expansive handcrafted interconnected areas, plenty to explore. You can upgrade, beautiful pixel art, just really good. And it has a playable demo, so you can just check that out for yourself, and you can eagerly await when this game comes out, because the Kickstarter is going to be done by the time this episode comes out.
I'm itching for new Metroidvanias all the time.
All right. It is called Ruby and the Wayward Ruby the Wayward Mira, RUBI the Wayward Mira. All right, and the next thing is B&A Brand New Animal, another one with, oh my god,
We're learning so much this month.
This
January
is not
2020, The Descent of Chowder.
Chowder, are you a furry? You can tell us if you
I'm not
are.
a furry, I swear to you.
We are supportive, but I think we need to know, just for, like, making sure everyone feels safe. By that I mean, like, we don't want to say the wrong thing and step on your tail, so to speak.
I'm pretty sure the only person in this podcast who have a problem with you being a furry is Pat.
That's just because he hates Beast Wars.
Exactly.
Again, I swear to you, not a furry. This is just a weird coincidence.
Yeah, I guess you could also call Beast Wars anthropomorphized animals in a certain way.
All right. Again,
Oh, God.
They're not really anthropomorphic.
like,
they just
Brand
have
New
both.
Animal, a trailer came out for that. It's gonna come. It's looking really good. It's done by Studio Trigger, same guys who did no, this is anime. Yeah. It's new anime that's gonna come out. It's done by Studio Trigger, directed by Yo Yoshinari, who's done a lot of wonderful stuff like Little Witch Academia, Kill la Kill, and what was the one that movie that recently came out?
Was it Promare?
Promare, there we go. Promare. Yes.
Why do I know that? Of all the people on this show, why me?
No, like
We did talk about it on the show, didn't we? Jocelyn brought it up?
Yeah. Studio Trigger did Promare, and Yoshinari was not involved in Promare, but same studio here. It takes place in 21st century. There are humanoid animals that have been living in the darkness for centuries and revealed to the world, and now it's like this cyberpunk setting.
Wait a minute. What?
Okay.
This show is positing that humanoid animals exist now. Is that? And they're just underground hiding?
See, Jeff, there's actually this realm of storytelling called fiction that allows for these sort of abnormal and fantastical methods of storytelling.
Yeah. But is that what it's saying in the fiction of this world? Because you said it takes place in the 21st century and that they've been underground for centuries.
Yeah.
Which would imply...
Doctor Who did that with the weird tree people.
Doctor Who's done everything. You can't cite that.
Anyways, it's like a cyberpunk setting. There are humans, but there are also humanoid animals. And it's about this girl who was a normal human, but then turns into a Tanuki person, and now is just like a refugee running from the law. There are other characters like Ogami Shiro, who's like a wolf dude, who's like investigating why she became a humanoid animal, and like that's just the general gist of the series so that we've learned so far. It's gonna be on Netflix. It's slated for release on April 2020. That's not when it's coming out on Netflix. That'll be a different date. Like, it comes out on TV on April and then later on Netflix. So that's enough. Yeah, so that's another interesting thing.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's about... Wait, I do have more, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, we gotta talk about those good Pokemon, Chowder.
I don't even know what's happening in Pokemon, so you guys are gonna have to enlighten me.
Okay.
So they did a Pokemon Nintendo Direct on YouTube that, well, it announced that they're making a remake of the Mystery Dungeon games, which is kind of exciting.
Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good, yeah.
That's what reminded me of it, because when Chowder said that there was a demo for that game out, there's also a demo out for the Mystery Dungeon game already. They were like, hey, this is coming out. By the way, try it now. And we're like, what the fuck? But they're also releasing 2 expansions to Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, that looks interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that include, like, instead of basically what Pokemon usually does, where they're like, oh, hey, we've got a game, and then we'll release the same game, but a little bit better, like a year later.
Yeah,
right?
like
that's their
Gold and Silver, then like Crystal comes out, and it's just better than Gold and Silver. You have Sun and Moon, then like Ultra Sun and Moon comes out, and like those are just better than regular Sun and Moon.
Exactly. So instead of doing that, they're like, hey, you know that bullshit we usually do? We're not going to do that this time. And everyone's like, that's chill. But what we are going to do is we're going to release...
I saw a lot of people bitching about that.
Yeah, that's because that's like the people bitching about Picard because he doesn't have Riker with him anymore. Move on, people. It's time for new stuff.
But also, like, I don't know why you would be nostalgic about Nintendo just, like, fucking ripping money out of your pocket.
I don't play
like,
Pokemon.
hey,
I've always complained, just like, it's DLC. Just put it out as DLC. I don't.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. Except it seems like because like it's not just DLC. Like it basically is adding like a whole other areas for you to explore with like new quests and stuff like that. And well, because usually the Pokemon game doesn't add new areas is the reason I said it like that. They don't add like significant new areas, but and there'll be like a lot of what people were complaining about before was that like, oh, they cut down the Pokedex, right? Because like there's now, almost 1,000 Pokemon, and so of goddamn course they're gonna cut down the Pokedex because they got to do it at some point or another, right? But this expansion is going to add a lot of those back in. Which of course people are complaining about. They're like, they should just give it to us Pokemon for free. And it's just like, yeah, but like with every new game that comes out, like they're basically giving you like an exponentially increasing, well, not exponentially, but you know what I mean? Like an increasing amount of Pokemon every time. Like it makes sense that they're going to stop sometime.
Yeah, like,
right?
Like the DLC is kind of steep for DLC, but it's still cheaper than a new fucking game.
Than a whole new game. Yeah, exactly. And but also I might add that like you pay for the DLC pass, which is $30, right? And that gives you both expansions. So it's not
pretty on par with a lot of other major games right now. That's really not out of the ordinary.
And it's like it's not like it's just new Pokemon either, right? Like it's also, new stuff to do.
Yeah.
So and they're like, they're doing like fucking Galarian versions of like some of the old legendaries, which is crazy.
Well, I think the good news here is, though, for all the people who are upset about this, which I understand, not wanting the status quo upset, but for all the people that are being vitriolic about it, hasn't this been like the best and fastest selling Pokemon generation ever?
It is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people go,
I would also say,
I'm going to boycott this game. How's that working out, folks?
No, the fuck you're not.
That's like all my friends who are like, I hate paying for CBS All Access, but I have to. I'm like, well.
I mean,
you could pirate it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's much easier than pirating Pokemon, I'll tell you that.
Piracy.
Thank you. 2 disclaimers in 1 episode. Bad start.
I don't think we could call it a start at 53 minutes.
That's very fair. Oh shit! It has been 53 minutes. I lost track of time. Do you have any like extremely quick thoughts on Pokemon before we move on?
No, I mean I think it's exciting because like there's some new exciting stuff in Sword and Shield that they're like basically, which I'm not going to go into because that would be a whole fucking other conversation. But they're expanding upon that, which I think is really fun. So I'm super down for it. Personally,
my only thought. Regigigas is gonna be part of like the expansion, so Pokemon that like got cut out from the original Galarian Dex, but now he's here, and that's gonna be a little scary considering Regigigas is crazy strong, but only held back by an ability that doesn't let him use that power. But there is also a Pokemon called Galarian Weezing who has the ability to cancel out abilities. So, so like Regigigas and Galarian Weezing are gonna wreck shit.
That's fun.
This
I like
is
making
the part of the podcast where Colin doesn't know what's happening anymore, but that's okay.
What, you didn't understand all of that, Colin?
Listen, I know how cumbersome some of the things I say are to other people. It happens to me too. We're all in this boat together. I understand.
We're all in this together. Once we show that we're something, I don't know the rest
it really is hard to interrupt Chowder when he's singing. I don't know why. There's a jubilance there that like I feel like I shouldn't cut through. I don't know. It's tough. It's actually tough. No, okay. So I got 2 questions for you before we go to the rating section. Do you guys like Sherlock BBC, the Benedict Cumberbatch show?
No, I do
not. The first 2 seasons.
I used to like it, but then like it just kept getting worse and worse in a way that like even the seasons I liked, I start to dislike. So like
that's sad. I really like season 1 and 2, and then it got slowly worse, and the last season is like the worst fucking thing. It's so bad.
So okay, so do you guys like vampires?
Generally, yes.
I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure lately.
Oh snap! Nice.
So
It's bizarre.
The guys who made
It is very bizarre. Yeah.
the guys who made Sherlock made a Dracula show.
Oh, neat.
It's on
Is it
Netflix.
good?
Well, I don't know. I've mixed feelings because I started the show like this is kind of boring, but then I was like, I also hate vampires and don't understand them. So like the only vampire thing I've ever enjoyed is What We Do in the Shadows. Both the movie and the show are hysterical and wonderful. Taika Waititi's a brilliant person, but like. This show made me like the character Dracula and the conceits of all his powers, and it got weird. Like, and I kind of like the last series of Sherlock. I think it's a little overdone, but I don't mind that it went pretty far in a lot of places, and I feel like this show does that sooner. But it made me like vampires, and it was legitimately creepy and scary. It's based on the novel, so it's like they give a similar Dracula treatment, though it starts in the late 1800s. But it's the same thing. It's a one season of 3 episodes of 90 minutes each. I threw it on just to see, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I just thought I'd tell you guys about it.
Nice.
That's
Maybe
all.
I'll check it out.
It's creepy. It's well done, and the guy who plays Dracula, very good, fun actor to watch. But anyway, that's it. I didn't expect that to be a contender, but that was maybe the only other new thing I watched this month, besides The Witcher, but that came out in December, so that doesn't qualify. So
yeah, Mandalorian did too, right? I watched that
Mandalorian came out in November, and it was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I liked it a lot.
Part man, part DeLorean. Mandalorian.
I enjoyed that meme a lot. So now we're going to move on to the rating section, and we're going to breeze through this because I thought this was going to be... At first, I thought there were going to be 5 people, and this would be a shit show. And then there were 3 of us, and we all stayed very on topic. And then with the 3 people, it became a shit show again because we couldn't stop talking about anthropomorphized animals. So
well, it's basically like there were 5 people, but 3 of them were Chowder.
That is very true. And honestly, I could have talked about 2 more things if I wanted to, so...
So we're in the rating section now, where we're going to rate the things. Basically, during this part of the podcast, we, as the editorial group of the Common Briefing Program, try to come to a consensus about what was the most important or impactful or just plain interesting geek story from January of 2020. So,
Transformers. What?
I don't think I would vote for the Transformers movies just because they are not confirmed new. I really like it as rumors, but I know that Transformers has had like some crazy, like they had like 8 movies planned at one point and then they all got scrapped. So that sort of tempers my...
Because The Last Night did so bad.
Yeah, I heard it was...
Because it was so bad.
I heard it was a bad film.
If I'm right, wasn't Bumblebee the worst selling of the Transformers movies? So
yes, it was one of the lowest performing, but to Jeff's point, it was also like, a lower budget, so it was
much lower.
It was more profitable and it did way better in reviews. So Bumblebee is considered like a big success.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. So of all these stories, although I brought Picard to the table, I don't think that's like I feel like that's sort of a take it for granted thing, and the show isn't over yet. I'll wait to nominate that until we get to the finale. If we're talking about things that interested me most here, it was probably Kipo in the Age of the Wonder Beasts. If I've got that right, I'm going to nominate that as the thing I'm most interested in as far as the things we talked about this month. Jeffrey.
So I also really liked Kipo, and I mean, like, it wasn't news to me because I watched it, but it was great. And I'm totally fine if that's what we want to give it to. But let me just make a little call here for what if we just give January 2020 to the concept of anthropomorphized animals, because it seemed like we had some.
We got Kipo, we got BoJack, we got Beast Wars. We got not Owl House. Owl House is the only normal.
There was that other comic and the anime and
brand new.
Like pretty much everything Chowder talked about. I'm sure there's some anthropomorphized animals in Owl House too. To be fair,
I like your.
They're
grit.
in a crazy zany demon world, but.
All right, so Jeff is throwing it to furries around the world. Chowder, what are you? What would you nominate?
Let's see. The idea of Beast Wars getting an adaptation would be pretty dope. And I'm intrigued about Pokemon, but I already knew about that, so I think I'll have to give it to Picard, though. I'm interested in that show, and I want to give it a watch at some point. So yeah, and knowing that it's not a fan service festival, like
It feels like it is not like The Mandalorian, but it does the thing The Mandalorian does, where it brings in all the stuff that you want to see in the background, but it's doing its own story that teaches you things, and I think that's very good.
That's the thing.
Not in this episode. Can we talk about did Jawa's space travel?
Yeah, that was, I don't understand that either, because that was definitely not Tatooine when he was fighting the Jawas.
Yeah.
But that's
irrelevant
that's
by
all
like
Greek
3 degrees.
That's all Greek to me, but all right.
Where there is sand, there's Jawas. I'm okay with that rule. It's dumb, but it's fun. Okay, so we've got Picard, we've got Kipo, and we've got the concept of anthropomorphized animals.
Which I've got to say goes to Kipo.
Yeah, okay. So I guess we would say Kipo is the most interesting story that we have brought for January 2020. Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast is on Netflix. If you want to take a look at it, I will be checking it out myself.
That's very good.
Star Trek Picard Chowder, just so you know, runs 10 episodes, and it's on Thursdays. So in like 2 months, the season will be done. I'll probably bring it up again at that point, so when it's done, just like sign up for a free trial and stream it all and then pirate it if you want, but we don't condone that, so, but whatever. I want them to get the money because then they'll make me more of it, please. Anyway, that about wraps it up. This has been a shambles of an episode, but we hope you enjoyed it. I don't know what the episode title is going to be because there were like 14 things that could be the episode title, and maybe that's.
If we're not gonna make it fucking whatever we said about Chowder's mom.
America runs
be something
on
about
Dunkin' on Chowder's mom.
Animals.
That's it.
American Dunkin'.
The fact that it sent us all into a fit of laughter twice means that's probably going to be it. Okay, so I've been Colin Ketchen. I've done a horrible job at corralling this episode, but the rest of you are watching the Super Bowl, so who cares? I've been joined by...
Not on Friday, they won't be, I hope. That's the real news. That's going to be the news of February 2020, how the Super Bowl, in fact, lasted fucking 6 days.
We're still in overtime. 3 players died in the end zone.
I've been Jeff Leavitt. You can find me on Instagram. I do some art stuff there. It's things I wish existed, and there's a dot between each word. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tamil Chaudhary, or Chowder, whichever you prefer. And I know that Colin and Jeff prefer Chowder. I'm well aware.
You keep giving me the option. I have to do something with it.
Like, Timewell is a pretty good name, Chowder, but Chowder is a really good nickname.
Did you say that in the last episode, too?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You take the moon, and you take the sun.
And you take everything that seems like fun.
And now Jeff is even joining in. I told you, Chowder singing is an unstoppable force.
You can find me on Twitter. I haven't posted art on there in a while, but you know what? I feel like I'm gonna do that at some point soon, because I miss making art. I know that sounds hilarious and indecisive, but there you go.
All right, hilarious.
Is that why that comic resonates with you, Chowder?
Yes, it does.
So you can find me online at Sonic Colin K. I'm a part of 2 other shows that we do here. One is Dice Populi, which is currently D&D, but it's just tabletop stuff that's a lot of fun. Another show I do is with Laura, who you may have heard on this show. And episode just came out earlier this week where she drops some big news about her life, and it's a very fun time. And that's called How You Doing.
Ooh,
all of this can be fun. Definitely check that out. It's all at commongeekingprogram.com. Dice Populi, if you want to share it, is dicepopuli.com. How You Doing? Funny story. The website is podfriend.pizza. There's a story behind it.
You took .pizza from the McElroy jokes.
It was there. We were presented with a list of options, and that's the one that won. But anyway, we do a lot of stuff here. We should be back in 2 weeks with another episode. I think we're still sort of nailing down what that's going to be. But in the vein of what we just did with Eberron, which I listened to that and I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun with that episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode proper of the Common Geeking Program and another briefing program at the beginning of March, where I will be talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
that's fun.
All right, we will see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Der. This episode of the Common Briefing Program is hosted by me, Colin Ketchen, and I was joined by Jeff Leavitt and Taimul Chowdhury. This episode is sponsored by the over-sexualization of one Taimul Chowdhury, the sequel to the upcoming Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. The podcast is created and produced by myself, Patrick Brehm, and Jeff Leavitt, with these episodes recorded, produced, and with original music and edited by me, all that fun stuff. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing an episode about Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts, which we talked about here. So tune in 2 weeks then for that episode, and next month for another briefing program. And thank you for listening to this.
.com.
I like the blur though, because I don't know if you remember, way back when we were doing Coalition of Heroes stuff, I pitched a superhero idea to you that you were like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I hate it. It was called The Obscure Pancake. It was a man who's said to be made entirely of like pancake mix, but nobody can tell because he's always slightly out of focus. The idea sticks around in my head because it's meta in a bunch of really bad and not funny ways.